Welcome to the Golden Age of Cardboard podcast, where we remember a time when stacks of cards were held together with rubber bands and Mickey Mantles were put in bike spokes. We hope you will enjoy and reminisce as you come along with us as we tell stories about the baseball cards from the Golden Age of Baseball. We will examine the state of the vintage baseball card market and talk to some of the greatest collectors in the hobby. You won't be hearing us talk about any chrome or shiny cards here. Now, to take you on this retrospective journey, here's your host, direct from the shallow end of the gene pool, my son, Mike Moynihan.
Yo and hello everybody, Mike Moynihan here, Golden Age of Cardboard podcast coming at you for another episode. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I wanted to put out there for some reason, there might be some confusion, believe it or not. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's also a podcast. And the podcast is not under Bench Clear Media, which is where we show the YouTube video, but it is actually under Golden Age of Cardboard. If you look that up on wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc., you will find this, and you can also listen to it in your car or wherever you listen to your podcast. So it is actually a podcast, believe it or not. So would love if people are listening on podcasts to go out there and write a review for the show. That means a lot. That helps others find the show. It kind of puts it in the algorithms for all those different places where people listen to podcasts. So that would be great. Would appreciate that. So today we're going to do a fun episode. This is an episode I look forward to every year. I've done every year that Golden Age has been around, and several, many years in the past beyond that. And that is talking about the National. And we are 3 months away, less than 3 months away. And I'll talk to my guest about that in a second, but there is no experience like it. And I talk about it a lot. I know I do, guys. Apologize. Sorry, not sorry, really, because I just can't talk about it enough. And there's a guy out there that a lot of you know and love who probably loves the National more than me. And that's hard to imagine, but it's probably true. And that is Mr. Eric, Those Back Pages. How you doing, buddy?
Hello, friends. Those Back Pages here. I hope you're well. I'm good, Mike. I'm excited to be here tonight. I appreciate it. This is, as you had just said, this is one of my favorite topics to discuss.
Yeah, and you and I have we discuss it a lot offline, but we've done this type of video 4 or 5 years in a row, probably, something like that.
Yeah, I think this will be my fifth since this incarnation of my channel.
Right. Well, as always, talking to you is going to be super easy. When my dad was in the intro, my dad says, talking to some of the greatest collectors in the hobby. I think he was talking about you, Eric. So
thank you so much.
You are someone I admire tremendously in the hobby. I got to tell the story. Most people know the story, but I got to tell it again. The 2018 National, I think it was. And I remember seeing you at the 2014 National. That was the first time I saw you in person, but I didn't know who you were. Right?
That was in Cleveland. Yeah.
That was in Cleveland. But in 2018, I had gotten into YouTube, barely started, becoming just more involved in the community in YouTube, and had watched for years before that, but not really involved, was involved on the forums, and I saw you at the National. I went, holy crap, that is Eric. And I was kind of, what's the word? When you're a fan, I was like fanboy. Oh my gosh, that's Eric. He won't know who I am, but oh my gosh. And little did I know what good friends we would become over the years now. But seriously, you have an amazing collection, and I am you're a great guy, incredibly knowledgeable about the hobby, and you love this event every year.
I really do.
What about the National? is so important to you? Why do you love it so much?
Well, it's really hard to put into a few words, but I'll try.
You have an hour, Eric. You can talk all you want.
Could probably cover that on this topic alone. But it really is about, it's about the collectors, it's about the people. It's about seeing your friends every year. A really good friend of mine likes to call it the family reunion because we all get together 1 week each year and hang out and talk about not just cards, but what's going on in our life and everything else. So it's just and it's difficult to say this to people that haven't been because they, of course it's about the cards, but on the other hand, it's much more than just the cards. I like to say that, pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can go on the internet and buy cards. What you can't do is buy the experience of hanging out with your friends, old and new. That's one of the big things I like to do each year is meet new people. Not only, in the YouTube community, but off it as well. And sharing my knowledge and learning because, I do always enjoy learning myself. So it's something that, you really, you and I both, we love to talk about this topic and we love to cover this topic and all that other good stuff, and it's really difficult to go ahead and relay how big this event is to someone who's never been. But to me, it's the best. I mean, it's the best.
I wholeheartedly agree. Let me ask you this. How do you think, because this will be how many nationals for you? AC will be your what national?
um,
12th in a row, maybe? Something like that?
yeah, because there's no 20, so it'd be 12th. Yeah,
Okay.
not including 20. Because there wasn't one in 2020.
Right. So how over those 12 years of straight years of going to the national has the experience changed, both hobby wise and maybe experience wise? What do you think?
You mean for me personally or in general?
Um, Both. Let's talk about you personally first, then we can talk about just the national experience in general.
Well, I would say for me personally, the first half dozen or so was about, you know, more about the percentage of more about the hobby, like the card side than the people side was probably heavy equal to or heavier in favor of the actual cards themselves. Of course, I still saw friends and whatnot, but over the years, it's become more about the people and less about the cardboard. And
Okay.
as far as that's for me personally. As far as the other aspect of it, I'm the last. Obviously, we didn't have one in 2020. We had one last year, and it was. Go ahead and watch some of the recap videos that we've done with some of the footage if you've not seen it before. That it's unlike any. I don't even know what to expect this year. It last year was probably, I don't want to say all the 10 previous put together, but it was pretty at times it was overwhelming because of just the sheer amount of friends and the sheer amount of excitement and action and after the show on the floor each night there would be, oh well, there's the official trade night that a couple of the fellas do, and then there were unofficial trade nights, just crazy. I can't even describe it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I would agree with that in the sense that for me, the experience has changed, becoming more about the people than the cardboard. So I'm akin to you in that. And then just the show to me has changed even over the last few years, because I think it's a lot more, what's the word I want to use? Well, there's a lot more people,
Hmm.
right? So it's just more crowded. So it feels hectic, maybe. The trade shows that, or the trade nights that you mentioned, like last year, was something I think you and I would agree we've never seen before, where literally
No.
every hotel lobby has a card show going on in it
Oh yeah.
till all hours of the morning.
Oh yes.
And it was absolutely insane and super cool, by the way, like something I think was great. The spontaneity of that,
Oh yes.
the excitement that went on almost 24 hours a day for the length of the national.
It was seriously 18 or 19, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. And so that's different. That's a different dynamic that we haven't seen in years past. Even in 2020, we did, or sorry, 2019, we didn't see that really.
No, no, we did not.
So it's gotten just bigger, I think, in that respect. Let's get some basics out there for people
Okay.
that are, especially, this is not just for first timers. It's wonderful for people that have been before to kind of refresh in terms of experience and what some just great tips and tricks and things like that. And we'll do
There's
it.
there's no bad time to talk about the national, Mike.
That's right. So if you've heard all this before, it'll be just good a refresher. If Atlantic City 2022 is going to be your first one, there's some just things that hopefully Eric and I can share with you through our experience that will help. The first thing I want to share, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see this. If you're not, and you're listening on podcast, the show's official website is nsccshow.com. National Sports Collectors Convention show.com, nsccshow.com. I'm going to show that here. Here's the website. Pretty easy to navigate. There's not much to it other than the important things are that you buy tickets here, right? So, Eric,
Right.
what are the days of the show and just some basic information about it?
Well, it runs from Wednesday the 27th of July until Sunday the 31st of July. Wednesday is a sneak peek kind of night. That's kind of, it's not a full floor hours. I'm sure they have the breakdown on the website
It's right here.
itself.
I'm showing it right now. It's
Okay.
4 to 8 on
4 to
Wednesday.
8. Yeah, and then the other 5 days is 10 to 6.
Other than Sunday, it's 10 to 5.
Sunday's 10 to 5. And it's Wednesday's pretty much like well, at least they used to call it the sneak peek because of the shortened hours. But I mean, if you're there, you're gonna go.
Right.
It's, there is no wrong day to go. I mean, it like we said earlier with, the awesome amount of crowds. It's busy each day of the show.
Well, there are some different ticket packages that people can purchase. I'm showing those on the screen right now. You've got your daily, I call it general admission, or they call it general admission. I just call it the daily. They used to call it the daily, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You can just buy a ticket, $25 on if you buy it online. If you
Yeah.
wait till you get there to buy it, it's $30. So you save a little bit if you
And
buy it
I'm
online.
pretty sure it's good any day you want to go.
Right.
It's not
I
day
believe it.
specific.
Yeah, it's good for one day, any day of the event, including Wednesday.
Right.
So, and then you've got the VIP package, which includes 5 days of the show, all 5 days. It's $169 online, $179 if you buy it on site. You get a whole lot of things with the
Yeah.
VIP package. You get a VIP gift package. You get 12 select free VIP autographs. You get into the show half an hour early. That used to be an hour early, if I remember.
Was it? I'm not sure about
No,
that.
maybe it was only half an
I
hour.
think it was only half an hour. But
Okay,
the big thing about the VIP package is you get the promos too.
right.
like from Upper Deck and Tops and Panini. They usually put a bunch of goodies in the bag
Right.
that each VIP gets.
And you get the use of the VIP lounge, which is usually just a ballroom set up to let you sit down.
Yeah, get away from the crowd. Sit down. I
But
think
the
they have
box or something, right?
folding chairs and probably some tables in there, if I remember correctly.
And then on the super VIP has been something that gets you in all 5 days, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of other extra perks that is already sold out.
Yeah, I mean, the basic breakdown of the super VIP is it's double everything the VIP, and I think it had parking in it as well.
Now you can buy a uh, early entry pass now. This is something that I don't remember seeing before
No, I don't know about that either.
as an option. So it's 149 online, 159. So it's not a VIP. In fact, all you get with that is half an hour early entry.
So
I,
it's a VIP without the goodie bag, I guess, of the autograph tickets.
right. So they value the goodie bag at $20 because it's a $20 difference in the
Oh
price.
wow!
I think the VIP is worth more than $20.
I totally agree with that. I mean, the promos, because you got to remember those are
Exclusive.
they're national exclusive promos.
Yep.
In Upper Deck, I can't remember a time they didn't put Jordan in it, LeBron. So
Yeah. It's now the VIP autographs, a lot of people ask about this with the VIP, and the reality is you'll get basically you'll get a random 12 autograph. You don't get to choose.
right,
There might be 20 VIP autograph signers, but they will give you 12 randoms of
yeah, I
those.
think it's in the bag already.
That's right. And so you really get no choice. Like if you want a certain guy and you don't happen to get him, well, you'll have to trade with
Trade,
somebody
yeah,
else or
I've seen that
something.
before.
But that's not exactly something you can control. A lot of people ask me about that. But yeah, that's kind of the nuts and bolts of the convention. There are, and you can speak to this probably better than anyone. I've never been to an Atlantic City National.
Yeah,
So,
I was at the one in 2016. That was the
so
first time they had it. Well, I think since the 90s.
so what are your suggestions for people in terms of, hotels and lodging, etc.?
Well, I mean, at this point, since we are roughly 11 weeks out, not even quite 3 months. In 3 months the show will be over pretty much.
Right.
but but it's I think at this point, if you're not already booked up, you might want to see what your best options are. I really, it's tough to say because you know a bunch of us already got all that stuff reserved and out of the way a while ago. But like I always say, if you're in the vicinity, you should definitely go. If you're, if you're not in the immediate vicinity, but you're really thinking about it, especially if you've never been, you should go. Now, there's a lot of people that say, well, AC is a horrible location, blah blah blah. I don't buy that. I mean, it's a large convention center. There's a lot of space inside. I'm pretty sure the walking area and stuff's actually bigger than Chicago. I can't. It has been 6 years, but I don't remember. And again, that was 6 years ago, so a lot has changed in the hobby. But I don't buy this. Oh well, I'm not going because it's Atlantic City. That's ridiculous, especially in what I like to call the new age now of the hobby. The post-pandemic situation where everything changed.
Yeah.
So would I like it to be other places? Of course, but I guess I am partially biased because I'm about 2.5 hours away by car. So I'm gonna, I'm on Long Island, so it's a quick sit down to AC. It's not not a big deal for me, but that's just my own personal thing.
Well, there's plenty for you guys out there. Like Eric said, if you're in the vicinity, when I heard that and I thought of something else, if you can go and you can stay where it's a short Uber ride to the convention center,
Hmm.
big deal, right? That's
Yeah,
not usually a huge thing, especially in our world today where you can, people are like, oh, you don't want to be walk in because AC's quote unquote, there are some bad parts of AC and all that. That's true of any city. And
yeah,
by
that's
the way,
everywhere, really.
so the reality of it is if you can leave a casino, if you have to stay in a casino or somewhere and get down and get an Uber, you're going to be fine. And as you know, just keep track of that in your mind of cost to go to the show.
Yeah, yeah.
That might be part of it, depending on where you stay. Atlantic City provides something that I've never thought about for a national in terms of wanting to be really close, and that was Airbnb, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what me and a bunch of friends and a bunch of other friends that have all gotten these little groups together to buy Airbnbs. And I think it's a very cost effective way to stay in Atlantic City. I know ours is a 5-minute walk to the convention center. So
Nice.
that is no big deal, really. Super. I mean, I've never been there, obviously, but I'm looking at the maps and everything. It looks pretty convenient. So I'm excited about that. Getting to stay with your friends and hang out and stay up late talking cards and talking life and all of that I am stoked about that aspect of it, to be honest. And knowing there are other groups with other, what's the word I want? Other Airbnbs we'll just hop house. We'll do like house parties and stuff at
That's
different
right.
Airbnbs. I know we're going to do we'll get into each day here in just a second, because that's going to be an important thing. But staying there in terms of flying in, since Eric, you don't have to, I'll kind of give some stuff about that.
Okay.
Uh, Flying into Philly is probably the best option. There are flights to Atlantic City, but they are very limited. So I would not count on that. Flying to Philly, you can fly to Newark if you wanted to. Philly's about an hour, slightly over an hour drive. There are trains from Philly to Atlantic City that you can take. So there's a lot of ways to get there. None of them are 10 minutes away. That's just part of it. And that's okay. Like, that's no big deal. Just look into it, and flights are getting more and more expensive. So if you haven't booked your flights yet, I'd be going on to whatever your airline of choice is and get those taken care of sooner rather than later, because the way gas prices are going up and inflation and all that stuff, you need to, I would say, get on that sooner rather than later. Okay. So that's getting there, right? Whether you drive, fly, stay, you need a place to lay your head at night. Let's go through each day, because I think each day provides unique experiences potentially, and different pros and cons to each day. And we'll start with Wednesday, which is the sneak peek day, like Eric said. Eric, what do you like about Wednesday? What do you not like about, like, why would you tell someone, hey, if you can only go one day, why would you want to go to Wednesday? And why would you maybe not want to go to Wednesday?
All right. The pros of Wednesday is that it's the first day. So any quote unquote steals, and that's in the new age of the hobby, that's
Less likely,
highly subjective, yes.
right?
But you would see everything firsthand, like first. I'll get into that part later, but everything is fresh and new. Con would be it's only 4 hours, so it starts later, and if you can only go one day, I would not recommend Wednesday because it's 4 hours, and
You
you
can't
might
see it
think,
all.
yeah, you might think 4 hours is a long time, but it's not. And they, as far as I want to say, they're pretty regimented on getting, it's 8 o'clock, shutting down 8 o'clock. It's not like it's 8 o'clock, we're shutting down, and then a half hour later they're kicking you out. So they're pretty adamant about that. So that would be Wednesday. Thursday.
Well, let me talk about Wednesday real quick,
Okay, you talk about Wednesday. Go ahead.
because I think the point you made about everything's there on Wednesday, right? You have all the colors of the rainbow, so to speak.
Right.
Every card you could want is going to be there. It's not picked through. It's not been bought yet, etc. So if you're looking for a specific card, you're going to have the most choice to find that, most opportunity to find that card on Wednesday, right? As the week goes on, cards get bought up, and yes, some dealers have backup inventory that they refill their cases with.
Yeah, I have a point of contention with that because you got to remember each day they're buying and selling. So
That's true.
you're going to see fresh inventory just because you think, oh, it's Saturday, everything's going to be gone. Not necessarily true.
That's a good point, and that's very fair. I guess from a initial jump off, that whatever the dealers brought is going to be there on Wednesday.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
So, I also, it feels less crowded on Wednesday. Usually, there's not as many people because it's only 4 hours, and so it feels like it's easier to get around. It's a good day to kind of get lay of the land for the week and kind of see where things are.
I've had friends that don't buy Wednesday.
That don't?
They don't buy Wednesday. They go and they don't buy. They're mapping out their strategy.
Yeah, this is maybe a tip for newbies, and maybe a good refresher for veterans. Walk the floor before you buy something.
Normally, I would 100% agree with you, but not in the new age so much.
Okay. It's just you'll buy a card at a table and you'll walk 2 rows over and you'll find the same card for.
Oh, sure. I mean, if it's run of the mill stuff, yes.
Yeah, I mean, rare. Look, all bets are off on super rare things. You see something super rare, you buy it when you see it. So that's
great.
But in terms of, if you're looking for a 65 top Sandy Koufax,
right,
a slab or something, be patient with that because
100% agree.
And so I'll walk around the floor, usually try to get through once on Wednesday, which is tough. And
yeah, that's tough in one day.
Whew. But at least get an idea. Okay, this guy has a lot of vintage or whatever it is you're looking for, right? Okay,
write it
try
down.
to find those tables
and write it down.
Write them down and okay, I want to make sure
you're going to remember it. That's for the new people. Don't think you're going to remember it. Write it down.
It's bad enough at a local show.
Yeah, that's true.
I was in Missoula with 60 tables and I couldn't. Oh, where was that? There was a card I was wanting to buy and go back and buy, and I couldn't remember where it was. And I didn't write it down because I'm like, oh, it's in one little room here. Surely I can find it. Well, I ended up finding it, but I could have saved myself a lot of trouble had I just taken a picture of where it was. And now with our phones, you can take notes. You can
very true.
All kinds of stuff that make it convenient. So you have no excuse, no one to blame but yourself if you can't find something again. So walking that floor, getting a lay of the land of where's the corporate area, where's Topps, where's Panini, SGC, PSA, whoever it is that you're, wanting to spend some time at. That's a good idea. That's what Wednesday can be a good time to do that. Okay. Thursday, Eric, what do you think? Pros and cons.
Pros of Thursday. Now since Wednesday has ended, you've got a lot of the really like bargain hunter seekers are satisfied on Wednesday. Thursday is more of a I guess as laid back as something like this can be, because it's not Friday, which starts the weekend. I think Thursday that's like, especially in the morning, you've got, if you're only going to go one day, it's probably not going to be Thursday, let's be honest, because if it is only Thursday, you can go, that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Thursday. But people that are going Thursday are usually going more than one day, especially if they're local.
Right.
Initially, years ago, Thursdays weren't very crowded, but that's changed, obviously.
Last year, Thursday was a madhouse.
Yeah. Thursday might have been busier than Friday last
year. Yeah.
Which, again, we've been to so many of these now that's just, it's done a complete 180 in that regard. But I can't really think of anything negative about Thursday. I mean, I guess maybe some negative, if you have to pick something, a con would be, a lot of the big bargain, quote unquote, steals happened on Wednesday. So, dealers might have a little bit less inventory on Thursday. But again, I don't totally buy that because, like Mike mentioned, you want to get the lay of the land. You are certainly not going to, unless the only scenario I can think as far as on Wednesday night and getting the entire lay of the land is if you speed walk the whole thing and you don't stop to say hello to anybody. You don't sign up for a raffle. You do some casual browsing at certain tables. It believe me, 4 hours sounds like a long time until you're on the floor. It's not.
Right.
So yeah, I Thursday, all thumbs up for me. I mean,
Yeah, I
again,
totally. I
go ahead.
sound like a broken record agreeing with you all the time, but the answer is I
Yeah,
agree. Thursday's a great day. It's kind of everybody's excited. There's a great vibe on Thursday. Nobody's super tired yet,
that's a
so
good point. Yeah,
it's got a great enthusiasm around it. Typically, Thursdays just things are getting rolling, and it's getting into its rhythm. The show is, and the National has a rhythm to it that is hard to describe to somebody that hasn't been there. But there
yeah,
is definitely a rhythm, and Thursday that rhythm is ramping up. Another thing about Thursday that's important to me that I want to share with you guys here is for the last two nationals, both in Chicago because we missed again 2020, that we are going to be doing a get together, and we used to call it a YouTube get together, but
that's
it's
right.
really now that a lot of us are doing podcasts and other things. It's a
Community.
it's a community get together. That's a great thing to call it, Eric. Community
Yeah,
get together. So if you're listening to my voice or watching me on this screen, and Eric, I'm going to be hosting a event at a location to be determined. Haven't figured that out yet, but it'll be on Thursday night, and it's an opportunity to meet other fellow content creators. If you're
yeah,
a member of the YouTube community and you love just watching but you don't create content, great. Come to this. Meet
yes. Please
meet
come say
Eric.
hello.
Eric will be there. He'll be there. Um, things like that. If you're listening on podcasts, you just want to come meet me or meet other podcasters and other people in the community. It's just a great event to hang out. Like it's
Yeah,
just so much fun. And guess what? We're all collectors. So you're going to be in your element if you come to this. But it'll be Thursday evening. Now there's a couple of other things that happen Thursday evening. Actually, those are there's not a whole lot going on Thursday evening yet in terms of because the big trade night's not till
I thought it's Thursday.
it is Thursday. I
Yeah,
apologize. You're right.
it is.
There is a huge event. Ryan, Card Collector 2, the
Yeah,
last several years has run a gigantic trade night. If you're a trade night guy,
yeah. That's the official, quote
that's
unquote,
the
official
official.
trade
Yeah,
night.
it's not sponsored by the National, but it's the National Trade Night. Like it is
Right.
it. And Ryan does a great job doing that and putting it on. He'll be putting out tons of information about that
Yeah.
as we get closer. So you can either follow him on Instagram or his YouTube channel, Card Collector 2.
It's
It's
more
a go
well,
ahead.
given the listening audience, it's more of a modern thing.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
it's steeped in modern versus vintage.
Yeah, but it's a very cool event.
Oh yes,
And
without a doubt.
usually my event and that event are running simultaneously, or there is certainly some overlap in time.
Right.
But I have people that come to both. They'll go to the trade night for a little while, and they'll come over to the get together, to the community get together,
That's right.
vice versa. No harm, no foul. I don't, it, but that'll be Thursday. More information to come on both this podcast as well as the Baseball Collector channel. We'll be talking about it on Bench Clear. So it's going to be a big deal. And it's just a fun time to hang out and meet other people. If you're one of those people that you hear Eric and I talk about our friends in the hobby and how much they mean to us, and that's something you long for and something you say, I really still don't have that, or I'm just a lurker. I just watch and listen, and I have a few people I watch or whatever. Come, you will meet so many more people, and it's going to only enhance your experience in the hobby. I can promise you. So you will not regret coming to that. And if you're not having a good time, you can leave. I guess. But I don't think you'll have an issue with that. I remember a guy last year, Eric. His name was Chris, and he's probably going to listen to this podcast. He came up to me. He's just a watcher, rare commenter, and we hung out and talked. And so, Chris, if you're listening, I remember that experience meant a lot to me, getting to meet you and talk to you. And now we text and communicate, and he's become my friend.
Nice.
And that's the kind of stuff you can get. And he would say he didn't have a lot of hobby friends in the community till that experience, till coming there. So I'm telling you, it can happen. And I know I'm talking a lot about this, Eric, but it's an important part of this. Like
very much so.
So Friday, I'll talk Friday first.
Okay.
Friday's when the madness really gets rolling, typically. Again, I agree with Eric. Last year, Friday felt less than Thursday, but it's when the weekend starts. So many more people are coming into town and getting there, and it really starts building. That Friday's your building day. So much fun on Friday, and usually there's events Friday night. The con to Friday, usually there's another get together on Friday night. There has been in a couple years past. I don't know if that's going to happen again this year. There's going to be, is Friday the tops night? No, that's Thursday, isn't it?
Well, they didn't have it last year, so
yeah, they did. We went.
Did we go?
Yeah, we got the Luis Robert rookie card.
Oh, that's right.
Signed rookie.
No, I think it was Friday at like 6.
Yeah, Friday at 6.
That's right. They said no phones. I remember that now.
Yep. That was unusual.
Yeah, but not enforced, but
so
yeah.
Let's talk about that. There is a Tops. I forgot, just totally blanked on what they call it. Tops Q&A. Thank you. That's an annual event that Tops usually throws. You'll have to, Tops will put out on their Twitter and all sorts of stuff when that's going to be, what day.
Yeah.
So pay attention.
If you can go to that, it's definitely worth going. I mean, never mind, usually get a signed card on the way out, but you get to actually interact with the Tops people that are there. They're, do they always answer the tough questions? No, they try their best, but it is nice of them to put this event on annually. It's not free. They do give you finger foods and beverages, and they give away a lot of prizes, a lot of trivia, and they treat the kids really well with the prizes and stuff like that. But it is something they're not required to do, but they have done it every year since 15, I think.
And the reason I think it's important this year is going to be the whole Fanatics angle.
Yes.
And seeing how that starts getting weaved into the top story. I don't know. It may not be an impact at all. We don't know. But it's definitely an event I would recommend attending. Unfortunately, the room in past years has been pretty small that they've done this, and they've only
capped it at like 125 or 150 something.
Yeah, it is a capped thing. If you don't get on the list early, and you have to sign up at the Tops booth.
Yeah, there's no cutting. There's no.
Nope. The line last year was literally around the corner to sign up, and so when we just happened to be first,
right?
I remember last year, but it's definitely an event. If you can go, try to go. If you're there, whether it's Thursday or Friday night, but Friday is a great day to me. What about you, Eric? Your thoughts?
No, I totally agree with everything you said, because now, with Friday, especially later in the afternoon, you're going to have friends rolling in for the weekend. You're going to have families coming, if you're there Friday, usually they go Saturday as well, and sometimes Sunday. But yeah, Friday, like you said, last year seemed to be less crowded than Thursday, but again, that's really semantics. It's not.
It's still very crowded.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Again, you're Friday and Saturday for me. I'll start Saturday. It's the same thing. It's there's more. Um, there's a lot that Tops does a lot of stuff for the kids. Giveaways at the Tops booth and stuff like that. And that's more a Saturday thing because they know kids. I don't know if they used to have Kids Day, but they might not have. That might have been Sunday. I don't remember. But again, Friday and Saturday you can lump together. No, nothing negative to say about Saturday at all. I don't have any cons really, other than it may be more crowded. But again, that's semantics, really.
And for those people that are going for the whole week, by Saturday, you're starting to feel it.
That's a good point.
So there's a lot of exhaustion, not yet. That comes Sunday, but usually Saturday is the last day for me. Like I'm only going through Saturday this year again. I usually don't stay till Sunday.
Well, I mean I'll touch on that for a second. That
Yeah.
A lot of my friends the same thing. People that are flying that have to go back to work on Monday, they don't want to leave the show Sunday night and then have to go back to work Monday morning. They've got to get their kids back to school and whatnot. It's unfortunately Saturday. For me personally, I say goodbye to a lot of my really good friends on Saturday, but it is what it is.
Yep. And talk about Sunday a little bit, pros and cons.
Again, pros. Let's go with the pros on Sunday. Traditionally, and again, this is back in the old days, but Sundays usually had a lot more deals back then. Like I don't want to I don't want to log all this stuff back. I don't want to ship it back. I want to clear it out. But again, that's the old times. But you will find some every day. You could find some steals, some deals, really rather. But Sunday is, in the morning is fine, and then in the late after, I guess this would be more of a con. By midday, late afternoon, dealers are packing up. They've gotten better at that actually. Back in the day, actually that when you first saw me back at the Cleveland show in 14, Sunday was like half empty.
Right.
Just like they've put a stop to that, which they should, because if you have a family and you can only go one day and it's Sunday, you don't want to pay full price and then see half empty room.
Sure.
That's not fair. That doesn't leave a good impression. It doesn't make your experience enjoyable. But they've gotten better at that. But there is a point where, anyone who's been there a number of days now, they're tired. Um, the thing I don't like to think about is happening. The show was ending. Back to quote unquote reality and stuff like that. But Sunday, if you could only go one day, I would least recommend Wednesday and Sunday if you could only go one day.
I agree. I mean, my favorite day is Wednesday, but if you could only go one day, I would not tell you to go Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I totally agree with that. I want to switch gears to another topic. And I know, Eric, you're not into this a whole lot, but there are a lot of people that are, and that is the autograph side of it. TriStar runs the Autograph Pavilion every year. They bring in a number of guests. You've got so many people. They've already confirmed, and that list is found. If you're watching, you'll see it here on TriStar's website. But if you're listening, it's tristarproductions.com, and you can just click on the national icon that's right on their website. And you can go here and see who all is signing. As it gets closer, they will. In fact, it says right here, autograph tickets to buy in advance are available for purchase starting May 26th. So just a few weeks from now, you'll be able to start purchasing those tickets. So that's when you'll know what the prices are of each player. They've usually got a great lineup of football guys. Some of the notables, as I'm looking at the list for you people listening on podcast, Frank Gore is making his first national appearance. You've got Jim Kelly, Steve Largent. A huge one is Dan Marino is making his first appearance. You've got Jamal Lewis, Joe Montana will be there. Anthony Munoz, Hall of Famer. Barry Sanders, Lawrence Taylor, Phil Simms, Michael Vick, Thurman Thomas, all going to be there from the football side. The baseball side, they've got just a litany of people, and this list isn't even complete. They will keep adding people as we get closer and closer to the National. Remember, we're still, 80 some odd days away from the show, so they'll keep adding people. But you've got Johnny Bench and Andre Dawson and Goose Gossage, a huge list of Hall of Fame baseball players. Chipper, looking down the list here, Tony Oliva, new Hall of Famer, making his first appearance. David Ortiz, new Hall of Famer, will be there. Piazza, Mariano Rivera, Sandberg, Darryl Strawberry, one of my favorites as a kid. And so a lot of these guys, there's a lot of, I'll call them second tier guys like Lance Parrish, Milt Thompson, Roy White. A lot of those guys will be some of the VIP guys. Greg Nettles will probably be a VIP guy. Those types of guys. Chuck New Kids on the Knobloch will be there. That's an old Chris Berman thing. And then you have a bunch of basketball guys as well. This list will grow for sure, but Alex English, Spencer Haywood. I've been enjoying watching Spencer Haywood in that Lakers thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The one on HBO.
Yeah.
Spencer Haywood has a pretty
Showtime or something.
Yeah, it's about the Showtime Lakers. Yeah, Gary Payton, Brian Leach will be there, and they'll add some hockey guys. And then you've got non-sport or non-traditional sport guys. You got Floyd Mayweather, boxer. Chuck, is it Little or Liddell?
I think it's Liddell.
MMA guy, he'll be there. So my point is, if you're an autograph guy and that's something you're into, make sure you're following along on TriStar's website as they update that, usually weekly. You can check it every week and kind of start going, okay. And each player will be signing on a certain day at a certain time. So if there's a guy you really want to get, make sure if you can only go 1 day or 2 days, make sure that the guy you want to get is signing on the day that you're going to be there. That's kind of important. So you don't want to get there and go, oh, why isn't Dan Marino signing today? Well, he signed yesterday or whatever.
That's right.
Just, lay out your schedule, kind of what you want to do. And that leads me to my next point is now we're going to talk kind of generality things to keep in mind as you're preparing for the National and thinking about the National. But having a plan is kind of important. This is a gigantic event, and there is so much to see. And if you don't have some plan of what you want to accomplish, you're going to get in there and you're going to have information overload, and it will overwhelm you. And you may miss out on some things that you really wanted to do because it can be distracting. Everywhere there's squirrel. Oh, awesome card. It's vast. It is. I don't even know to describe the scope of it is unfair to the National because you can't. It's cards as far as the eye can see, booths and, bells and whistles everywhere. So have some sort of a plan. If you want to get a guy's autograph or you want to get some cards graded by one of the major companies, which, oh, by the way, from what I understand, and I've talked to or talked to the ones that haven't like last year, they plan on doing it this year. SGC is going to be grading on site. PSA, CGC, Beckett will all be grading on site. CSG. What did I say?
CGC.
Sorry, that's the comics. They will not be grading comics on site. CSG will be grading on site. So you have to kind of get all that figured out. If you're going to grade cards, do the submission forms beforehand. Have those ready to turn in so that your stay in line is super simple. You hand in your cards, you hand in your form from whatever company you're using. Makes it way, way easier. Because I've graded at the National, and you can get stuck in lines forever.
Oh, yeah.
Or you can do it quick. It's up to you. And all that happens before you get there. There's a lot that goes into the thoughts before you get there. Any thoughts on that, Eric, or agree?
No, I agree. I totally agree with everything you said.
Okay. In terms of, I mean, everybody says this every year, and it's so true. Wearing good shoes, no doubt,
Yeah.
right? Your feet are going to hurt. Like
Yeah, it's
maybe
concrete.
you're walking on concrete for 8, 10, 12 hours. You
Yeah,
need really good shoes. Some guys I know change socks throughout the day and all kinds of stuff. Or they have multiple pairs of shoes that they change. Just wear good shoes. You're going to be walking a lot. Bring water. Have a backpack. Have some type of, or something. We have a bunch of guys that that Eric and I know that wear fanny packs now.
that's right.
The fanny pack gang, they call themselves. It's pretty funny, but you need something to carry all, your stuff around, and bring water, bring some snacks. Cause
Yeah.
usually the convention center food is pretty crappy.
Crappy and expensive. Yeah.
Crappy and expensive. Yes, both. So have that stuff ready to go. Lists, have a list of cards that you're looking for so you don't forget stuff.
Yeah, hard copy list.
Yes. Don't expect your internet to work. It probably will.
Probably will, but there's going to be a lot of people using it.
That's right. So it might be slow. If you're like trying to get on VCP or comps on eBay or stuff
That's
like
if you're
that.
building sets, if you're a set builder, and have
Yeah,
your tech list, print them out, have a hard copy.
absolutely.
Can't go wrong.
Cannot go. You won't be mad that you have it. And even if you don't need it, you won't
That's
be
right.
mad that you have it. You'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
That's right.
So for sure. I mean, I'm going to have my list of everything I'm looking for. Everything that's on my kind of master want list, I'm going to have it with me. Again, I may not pull it out because I can pull up my pet registries or whatever online. Hopefully that's a lot easier, but I'll have my hard copy in a little binder ready to go.
That's right.
Actually still have mine from last year. It's right here.
Nice.
It's so funny. It's literally right here. I'm just going to reuse it, except printing out the new list.
Might as well.
So that's a great point, Eric, to have your lists. What else? What else we want to talk about?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think we're like I mentioned before, it could go forever on this, but we're definitely going to have more videos on this. That's it's just the nature of the beast. We're going to have more, but at the moment, I can't. I think we touched a nice amount of stuff right now.
Well, if there's something that we haven't covered in this, please leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube. I'll be happy to answer it. Eric may be checking this every once in a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great questions that he can answer. We're happy to help. We want you to have a great experience too. We want you to have a memorable time and just a lifelong hobby memory. It is, if you've never been, you need to go. I should have said that at the very beginning.
I agree.
Go. You will not be upset that you went. I promise. You will be. It'll be one of your favorite hobby memories. And every year it just adds to mine. I don't have a favorite national because they've all been great. But they feel like they're getting more and more fun. If that makes
they are.
If that's even possible.
Yeah, more memories each year.
Yeah, it's just it's an unbelievable experience. And so again, if there's something we haven't covered, if there's other videos that you see of other people doing, well, I'd watch them. There's going to be a lot of similar things that people say that have been before. And that's, again, never bad to hear something kind of drilled into your brain. But at the same time, you might pick up some other things that we just didn't mention for no other reason than we failed to mention it. So I encourage you to watch that stuff too. And yeah, Eric, we'll have more as we get even closer. We'll do a little more.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the National has pretty much everything you could want. If you're a modern guy, you're going to love it. If you're a vintage guy, you're going to love it. So it caters to all collectors out there, all types of collectors, I think. Agreed?
I totally agree. 100%.
Yeah. And any final thoughts, Eric? And we'll head out of here.
I can't wait to see each and every one of you there. That's the main thing for me. Please, you see me, come and say hello.
You will not miss Eric. He's usually in a fedora.
Well, some sort of hat, not necessarily fedora.
Good point. You got any custom T-shirts this year, Eric?
Thinking about it, honestly. Thinking
Yeah?
about it. Yeah. Might have to bring those back. Had those in 2019. Might have to bring them back.
Hey, there's a lot of new people that you could meet that have never seen your T-shirts.
That's right.
That would be fantastic. Well,
Nice.
Eric, my friend, thanks again for joining me on the show.
Oh, my pleasure, Mike. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, you guys out there, hope you have a great show. And again, if you have questions, write them, put them down here. We'll do our best to answer them. And thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening as always. Have a great one and keep collecting.